Time to take a coding break. Hello, Coder Pros. This is your medical coding coach as well as your medical coding instructor, Tam Talk. Here taking a coding break because I want to address the elephant in the room. And you may ask, what elephant is that? The practicality of medical coding. So I was perusing the internet and I don't know why, I guess it's the Capricorn in me, to look up medical coding, like the struggles of medical coding. And I received a lot of feedback as it relates to like the search engine. And many students who are taking the course are struggling and finding it a challenge to get through some of the lessons. Specifically, I'm going to say musculoskeletal system, and there was another one that I saw, but that one's the one that stuck out with me. And I want to come on to say medical coding is a very practical career path. It's very practical. And I also want to encourage each of you who are currently studying for your CPC or your medical coding certification is not to overthink it. And I'm noticing, and I have noticed just with former students, that individuals who are new to healthcare are typically the ones who overthink this process or this course, or AAPC course, excuse me. And that's because, you hear so much about doctors and nurses and their struggles and, passing their nursing exams, the MCAT and all those things like that. And so if you're new to healthcare, you may have a tendency to think that it's much more complex than what it really is. And I'm here to tell you that it is not what it is. It's not that deep. There's a lot of information, but it's not that deep. And I want to encourage you to not overthink that. Again, medical coding is very practical. It is a very practical career path, and it doesn't make sense as someone who's new to it. But the more you do it, the more you practice it, the more you have an understanding, especially as it relates to the concepts of medical coding. You'll look back and realize, ask yourself, why did I even overthink this, right? And then especially now in the current economy with technology such as AI or artificial intelligence, there's so many apps and applications, that you can use, that are actually used to help make the process of medical coding very easy, streamlined. Of course, it's going to increase productivity because of those tools and resources that are available in this industry. But nonetheless, medical coding is a very practical career path. Books, yes. Lots and lots of resources, yes. But those resources are there to help you. I read one comment where someone was reading the book cover from cover. To me, it doesn't take all of that. I think what you need to do is really just understand the concepts. Once you understand what the concepts are, such as the guidelines, and you begin to apply those guidelines, it will make sense to you. Do you need to read it cover from cover? No, because again, you're finding a diagnosis, you're finding a procedure, you're finding a modifier. You don't have to go through, sorry, the entire cover to the entire book per se, studying it in order to feel like you're confident in medical coding. So I say all that to say that you're fine. You are fine. Do not overthink it. Do not overthink medical coding. I've been in the medical coding industry for almost three decades. And the only thing that has changed with it, of course, codes change every year, because that's just something that comes with medical coding, that the codes change every year. That has not changed. That's not something new. What has changed is the implementation of or increased technology, again, such as AI, such as, again, there are resources there to help you. You just have to understand the concepts, understand how to apply those concepts when you are coding or when you are auditing, because the roles are shifting or changing as we delve more and more into AI. So again, I'm here as a voice of confidence, as a voice of encouragement, as a voice of practicality, that you're fine. Do not overthink it. And again, I typically find the overthinking with those who are new to healthcare. Learn your medical terminology, understand anatomy. If you don't get anything, get that so that you can have an understanding of what you're coding. And if you are on site, if you're in the office and your providers are there, do not be afraid to ask your providers for clarification. I did it. I still do it, And like I said, I've been like almost 3 decades in. I still ask providers questions. My providers are not in the same location, but I still send messages to them asking for clarification on certain procedures, certain diagnoses, especially if it doesn't make sense. Like the diagnosis or the procedure doesn't make sense, it doesn't jam, it doesn't go together. I still ask questions, right? I still ask questions. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with asking questions for clarification. It doesn't make you less of a coder. It doesn't make you dumb. You just need clarification. There are doctors who don't know medical coding, okay? So they're doctors. So who are you to think that you are less of a coder because you ask a question? Again, they studied years, and again, some still don't know. But then I'm digressing. But I want to offer a voice of reason. It could be because we're in a culture of short form, and so when we're trying to study something that is long form, it's a distraction from us because we're so accustomed to short form or digesting information in short spurts or short form, that when long form information such as long lessons are presented to us, that we don't know how to focus. That's why I offer again the Coders Cafe library, where it allows you to focus. It puts you in an environment where, again, you can actually track your productivity. You can actually focus in there. And again, it's virtual. Again, it's the Coders Cafe library, so that you can focus uninterrupted, or you're focusing in the same way that in which you're taking short form information, right? So, again, that's my rant on that. But I also wanted to address the question of, so let me go back. So for those of you who know or follow me on socials, you know that I will be teaching the summer semester on HillmanTok University. For those interested in pursuing their medical coding certification or just learning or have a better understanding of it. And so I'll be offering that through HillmanTok this summer semester. I would tell you to register. However, registration is now closed because the course will start on May 12th. And it goes through the summer. I have had questions of whether or not I will be offering it during the fall. That is to be announced. I'm not sure. I'm offering it for free via HillmanTok University. Now, for those of you who are still interested in taking it, I do offer the course through my business. However, you will have to pay for it because it is a business. It's part of the business plan, right? So, but I do offer various options of payments so that, to accommodate your budget, not to break your bank, because I understand that, you're trying to learn it as well as trying to maintain a household. So I get that. However, like I said, if you take it through my business, you have to pay. However, if you're registered through HillmanTok, it will be free, but you still have to pay for the books, the material. I don't I don't own the material. You still have to pay for the material. Or if you want to sit and wait to see if I offer it again during the fall at HillmanTok, that's an option as well. But if you don't want to wait and you are late to register, you can visit my website, and that's at www.abrahammedicalcodingcoachllc.com, and click on medical coding course and register through that. And I will definitely put the information in the comments, the links in the comments. Like I said, as far as HillmanTok, the summer semester registration has closed, and unfortunately, you are unable to register for that summer semester. And again, with the fall, I'm unsure. That has not been announced yet. And then as far as like if you still want to take it through my business, of course you will have to pay, but there are options available to accommodate your budget so that you won't break the bank. So again, those are my words of encouragement, my options or suggestions to you as it relates to medical coding, learning medical coding, how to apply it, when can you take the course, and all that good juicy information there. Like I said, if you're on YouTube or you listen on YouTube, I will leave it in the description box, and I'll leave it in my podcast description box as well. So that's all that I have for this coding break. And as always, remember to take your coding break and at the same time code on. Until next time, toodles.